the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rofh Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
AFP warns against fake news on West Philippine Sea operations. Second ID neutralizes NPA rebel, seizes high-powered firearms in Quezon clash. COMELEC may resume voter registration in October. Habagat and recent storms death toll rise to 38.
Hello to everyone, especially to our troops at Camp Emilio Ginaldo in Quezon City. Today is Monday, August 4, and this is AFP Committee News, your source for the updates on the armed forces and other developments across the country. I am Rofh Suzon-Abay here to bring you today's stories.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
For the brief overview of our news, the Armed Forces of the Philippines has warned the public against the spread of fake news and disinformation related to military operations in the West Philippine Sea, particularly near Ayungin Shoal. In a statement, the AFP condemned the use of recycled videos falsely labeled as new incidents, calling the move irresponsible and misleading. The Armed Forces stressed that these tactics distort the truth and aim to undermine the national unity and the maritime claims. The military reaffirmed that all its actions are grounded in the Philippine Constitution, international law, and the 2016 Arbitral Award under UN clause. As Chinese incursions continue, the AFP urged the Filipinos to stay vigilant and rely only on credible sources for information, warning that disinformation threatens the national integrity.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The government troops from the 2nd Infantry Division neutralized a New People's Army rebel and recovered 3 high-powered firearms during a firefight in Barangay Magibay, Quezon Province. According to the 201st Infantry Brigade, the clash began when the 16th Infantry Battalion launched a security operation based on reports from residents about armed rebels in the area. The 20-minute encounter resulted in the death of one unidentified rebel. Recovered items included an AK-47 rifle, M16A1 rifle, M203 grenade launcher, magazines with ammunition, bandolier, and a wristwatch. The military continues its clearing and pursuit operations to track down the fleeing rebels.
Armed Forces Radio.
Let us hear more updates from Shaira about Marines and Navy commandos hold successful maritime interdiction drill in Zamboanga.
Yes, good afternoon. The Marine Battalion Landing Team 1 and Naval Special Operations Unit 6 conducted a successful simulation exercise in maritime interdiction operations of Barangay Rio Hondo, Zamboanga City. It marked the conclusion of their visit board search and seizure training. The drill, based on a scenario involving a vessel smuggling contraband, demonstrated the unit's readiness and coordination in countering illegal maritime activities. Led by Lieutenant Colonel Nepthali C. Papa, the exercise showcased real-time ISR capabilities and earned praise from both military leaders and city officials. This is Shai Rivera reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Shaira.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
On the other hand, the 8th Infantry Division has confirmed the identities of 3 key Communist New People's Army terrorists among the 8 died during the twin clashes in Barangay San Isidro, Las Navas, Northern Samar. Identified were Richard Humadio alias Suban, the regional NPA leader, Bourbon, the vice squad leader, and Jinky Senobio alias Sinag, a squad member of all the parts of the Eastern Visayas Regional Party Committee. Their group was reportedly behind the multiple ambuscades, extortion, and the radicalization of civilians in the region. The military recovered 10 firearms in total, including a K3 light machine gun and M16 rifle. Authorities are coordinating with local officials to notify the families and urge the remaining rebels to surrender and return to their peaceful lives.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff General Romeo Browner Jr., Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr., and the United States Ambassador Mark A. Carlson witnessed a joint simulation exercise at Clark Air Base, Pampanga. It demonstrated the airlift of food packs for flood-hit communities. Using US MV-22 Osprey, the drill highlighted rapid response capabilities and interoperability in humanitarian and disaster relief efforts. The event emphasized the growing Philippine and U.S. defense cooperation and shared commitment in protecting the lives during emergencies.
Armed Forces Radio.
Let us hear more from Mel Joy of 1st CRG about NOLCOM Commander joins the SND and U.S. Joint Simulation Exercise in Pampanga.
Yes, Rofh Lieutenant General Fernil G. Buca, Philippine Air Force, Commander of the Northern Luzon Command Armed Forces of the Philippines, Joint Secretary of National Defense Gilberto C. Teodoro Jr., Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff General Romeo S. Browner Jr., and United States Ambassador Mary K. L. Carlson in observing a joint simulation exercise on humanitarian aid delivery at Clark Air Base, Pampanga. The activity, facilitated by Tactical Operations Wing Northern Luzon, demonstrated the loading of Department of Social Welfare and Development family food packs into a United States MV-22 Osprey for transport to flood-hit areas, including remote provinces like Batanes. A total of 4,800 food packs have already been delivered and prepositioned for distribution with support from United States Indo-Pacific Command. The exercise aimed to enhance interoperability and coordination in future joint humanitarian assistance and disaster response missions. This engagement reaffirmed Northern Luzon Command's role as a jointly engaged, sustainment maintained, and readiness-trained force protectors of the people, ready to respond when lives are on the line. This is Meljoy Nacho Arroco reporting for AFP Community News. One AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Meljoy of 1st CRG.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The Bureau of Immigration and the Armed Forces of the Philippines raided a Pasay City condominium and dismantled a crypto scam hub allegedly operated by 20 Chinese nationals. Agents caught the suspects in the act of running a fraudulent cryptocurrency scheme involving Bitcoin and Ethereum. Immigration Commissioner Joel Viado said that this is a warning to foreign syndicates and they will not tolerate digital exploitation on Philippine soil. Authorities plan to deport the suspects following intensified efforts against cyber fraud under President Marcos's directive.
DWDD National News.
For our national news, the Commission on Election may resume the national voter registration in October following the expected postponement of the barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections this year. According to Public Chairperson George Erwin Garcia, if the BSKE is postponed from December 1 to November 2026, the COMELEC will again open registration in October after the Bangsamoro parliamentary elections. In addition, he also stated that instead of extending the registration, the COMELEC will just resume until they are certain that the BSKE will not push through on December. Meanwhile, Malacanang has informed the COMELEC that President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. will sign the proposed measure, effectively extending the term of incumbent village officials by a year on August 12.
Armed Forces Radio.
Now some information from Jim Boy about 3rd Mechanized Battalion. Philmeco teach salted egg making to Tarlac students.
The 31st Mechanized Infantry Company of the 3rd Mechanized Infantry Battalion, in partnership with Philmeco Animal Nutrition Corporation, conducted a salted egg making seminar for grade 6 student of Santa Rita Elementary School in Capas, Tarlac, led by 2nd Lieutenant Alexander Batara and supervised by Miss Cristel Valencia of Philmeco. The activity trained 42 students in basic food processing. The activity was part of the Army community engagement effort in partnership with local stakeholders. Teachers and students expressed gratitude for the opportunity and support given to their school. This is Jimboy reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Jimboy.
DWDD National News.
The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council earlier reported that the combined impact of the southwest monsoon and tropical cyclones Krising, Dante, and Mong has left 38 people dead. According to the NDRRMC, of the 38 casualties, 3 have been confirmed, 1 each from the Ilocos region, Northern Mindanao, and Caraga, while 35 are still undergoing validation. The agency also reported 33 injuries, 20 of which were recorded in the Cordillera Administrative Region, and 8 individuals remain missing. 4 confirmed and 4 others are still being verified. Meanwhile, over 2.3 million families or 8.6 million individuals across multiple regions have been affected by the widespread flooding and landslide caused by the storms and heavy rains.
DWDD National News.
For our weather update, the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration announced during its 186th Climate Forum that up to 17 tropical cyclones may enter or develop within the Philippine area of responsibility from August 2025 to January 2026. According to Pagasa Assistant Weather Services Chief Ana Liza Solis, 2 to 4 tropical cyclones are expected in each of the months of August, September, and October 2025. For the first half of August, the agency is also monitoring a weather disturbance east of the country. Meanwhile, this month, above normal rainfall is forecast in northern and eastern Luzon, central Visayas, and parts of northeastern and southern Mindanao, while near normal rainfall is expected in the rest of the country.
Armed Forces Radio.
And more updates from FERDI, Philippine and Indian navies hold first joint drills.
Good day, everyone. Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff General Romeo Browner Jr. announced that the Philippine Navy conducted its first ever bilateral cooperative activity with the Indian Navy. 3 to 4 Indian warships joined BRP Jose Rizal and BRP Miguel Valvar in maritime drills across Philippine waters, including the West Philippine Sea. General Browner clarified that the exercise is not a show of force, but a demonstration of regional unity in the Indo-Pacific. The Indian Navy's port call in Manila included the arrival of survey ships INS Sadhayak. This is Ferdy Blues reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Ferdy.
DWDD National News.
For other national news, the Presidential Communications Office reported the Filipinos benefited from the Philippine government's Serbisyo Caravan in Dubai following its launch in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The said caravan held at Exhibition Hall 8 of the Dubai World Trade Center near the Dubai Metro Red Lane paved way for Filipinos to avail services from more than 10 government agencies. Some of the agencies who participated in the Serbisyo Caravan were Social Security System, Pag-ibig Fund, Home Development Mutual Fund, Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, Public Attorney's Office, Philippine Consulate General, and Filipino Social Club. Meanwhile, this month, the Serbisyo Caravan will return to Saudi Arabia to offer its one-stop platform to Filipinos in Jeddah on August 8 and in Al-Khobar on August 15.
DWDD National News.
Senator Panfilo Lacson warned the public against the scammers soliciting donations for supposed typhoon victims. The caution came after a scammer falsely claimed to be former Occidental Mindoro Congresswoman Josephine Sato reached out to Senator Lacson through Viber requesting financial aid to allegedly help rebuild an orphanage damaged by a recent typhoon in Occidental Mindoro. Senator Lacson mentioned that he has the scammer's real identity and even its SSS ID photo and shared screenshots of his Viber conversation with the perpetrator which showed the scammer using a profile photo of the former congresswoman and provided a GCash number for the donations. Meanwhile, the center is working with authorities to hold the individual accountable and urged the public to remain vigilant.
Armed Forces Radio.
From Solcom, let's hear from Sena about 31st Infantry Battalion participates in disaster preparedness in Albay.
As part of the intensified preparedness for the threat of calamity, in accordance with the raised tsunami alert in the coastal areas of the Philippines, the 31st Infantry Charge Battalion participated in the disaster risk reduction static display at Piñaranda Park, Legazpi City, Albay. The said activity aims to showcase the preparedness, capabilities, and coordination of various disaster risk reduction offices such as the BFP, PNP, PSG, PCG, and other agencies and organizations in responding to disasters. This coincides with the visit of Department of the Interior and Local Government Secretary Honorable Juanito Victor Rimulya to the said province. The 31st IB demonstrated its equipment and capacity for disaster response, search and rescue, and humanitarian assistance in support of government measures to maintain the safety of the people. This is Anna from Solcom reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Sena from Solcom.
DWDD National
Meanwhile,
News.
the Department of Health announced that Central Luzon residents can now avail free hepatitis testing, treatment, and vaccination in public health facilities. DOH Central Luzon Center for Health Development Infectious Disease Cluster Program Officer Almira Isabel Cavanan said that hepatitis is a serious inflammation of the liver that could lead to various health issues. According to Kayanan, hepatitis A and E are mostly acquired through poor sanitation, while hepatitis B, C, and D, which are more dangerous, are transmitted through blood and other body fluids and unsafe sex. Meanwhile, the said residents can avail the free testing and treatment at health centers, social hygiene clinics, HIV treatment hubs, and government hospitals across the region.
DWDD National News.
The Quezon City government urged and encouraged the residents to seek immediate medical help if they manifest symptoms of leptospirosis following the recent weeks' widespread flooding in Metro Manila. Based on the data from the Quezon City Epidemiology and Surveillance Division, 178 leptospirosis cases have been logged this year, 22% higher than the 140 cases recorded during the same period last year. The QCESD reported 23 death tolls due to leptospirosis and posted 67 cases from July 17 to 30, more than 40 cases listed in the last week of July alone. Meanwhile, Quezon City Mayor Joy Belmonte warned the residents not to take the disease lightly and immediately visit one of the 66 health centers in the city for assessment and treatment.
Armed Forces Radio.
From our report on the ground, let us hear the report of Spencer about Army troops recover remains of abducted Kaa killed by NPA in Oriental Mindoro.
Indeed, Rofh, the Philippine Army recovered the remains of a citizen Armed Force Geographical Unit Active Auxiliary Member or CAFGU abducted and murdered by the New People's Army in Barangay San Vicente, Rojas Oriental, Mindoro. Authorities identified the site through information from a civilian tipster and confirmed by surrendered rebels. They revealed PA unit led by alias Maan. Currently, the skeletal remains were exhumed and are now undergoing DNA testing for formal identification. Moreover, officials led by the 202nd Infantry Brigade condemned the brutal killings as a gross human rights violation. This is Spencer, reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Spencer.
DWDD National News.
Senate Minority Leader Vicente Soto III has filed a bill proposing the creation of the Presidential Drug Enforcement Authority, which aims to further strengthen the fight against illegal drugs and drug abuse. According to Soto, Senate Bill No. 190 primarily seeks to amend the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002, otherwise known as Republic Act No. 9165, to include the creation of the said agencies. In addition, the senator mentioned that the measure seeks to unify under a single government agency the four major programs in the fight against illegal drugs and drug abuse: enforcement, prosecution, prevention, and rehabilitation. Meanwhile, the lawmakers stressed the urgency of curing the drug use and abuse in the country and highlighted that the passage of the bill is to achieve a drug-free Philippines.
DWDD National
Cagayan de
News.
Oro's 2nd District Representative Rufus Rodriguez has called on the Department of Public Works and Highways to launch a thorough investigation into poorly executed flood control projects in his district. The representative's call comes in the aftermath of the Typhoon Krising and said that CDO's 2nd District is ready to have the DPWH Evaluation Committee assess and investigate which flood control projects were not properly implemented. Rodriguez also warned that contractors found liable and at fault will be blacklisted. Meanwhile, Rodriguez also remains positive for the completion of the infrastructure initiatives within President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s term, one of which is the 428-kilometer Mindanao Transport Connectivity Improvement Project that will connect the Cagayan de Oro to Davao and General Santos City.
Armed Forces Radio.
Congress updates from Terence about lawmaker proposes criminalizing AI-generated non-consensual sexual content.
Bagong Henerasyon Party List Representative Robert Nasal filed a landmark bill in the House of Representatives that aims to criminalize the use of artificial intelligence in generating non-consensual sexual content. Representative Nasal introduced House Bill number 807, or the Take It Down Act of 2025, which targets the growing misuse of AI tools in creating fake nude images and deep fake pornography used for harassment, extortion, or humiliation. The salon emphasized the alarming rise in tech-fueled sexual abuse, citing a sharp increase in voyeurism and deepfake sextortion cases recorded by Philippine law enforcement agencies. Under the bill, offenders who create, distribute, or even possess AI-generated explicit content without consent could face up to 12 years in prison or 20 years if the victim is a minor, and it allows also victims to file cases even if the perpetrators are based overseas. The bill mandates the Department of Information and Communications Technology to launch a Take It Down portal for verified content removal requests. Once filed, takedown requests must be acted upon within 24 hours, while flagged content must be removed within 48 hours, or platforms could be fined up to 1 million pesos per incident. Former BH Representative Bernadette Herrera called the bill a long overdue safeguard, saying it shifts the burden of action from victims to abusers and negligent platforms. Inspired by global initiatives like the US-based Take It Down system and the UK's Stop NCI project, Nasal said the Philippines must fight back against digital abuse with smarter, stronger, and faster laws. This is Terence Mordeno Grano reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Terence from Congress.
Armed Forces Radio.
For the other line, let's hear more from Mark about 202nd Infantry Brigade joins regional eclipse convergence in Laguna.
Yes, Rofh. Representatives from the 202nd Infantry Unified Brigade participated in the two-day Region 4A eclipse convergence held in Calamba City, Laguna. The event featured in distribution of assistance, packages, and checks to former rebels from Batangas. along with a simulation exercise on the rebel surrender process and agency coordination. Regional NICA Director Nino Anthony Balagtas opened the event, while Director Dennis Villasenor concluded it with a message of unity and peace. The activity reinforced the whole-of-nation approach to ending local armed conflict and promoting lasting peace and development in the region. This is Mark reporting for AFP Community News, One AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Mark.
DWDD National News.
The Bureau of Corrections in the University of the Philippines signed 2 landmark agreements that aim to expand access to education for persons deprived of liberty. Under the said partnership, the Bucor, the UP Open University, and the UP Alumni Association will provide PDLs and Bucor personal access to workforce development programs and UPOU's massive open online courses. Also, under a memorandum of understanding, Bucor and UP will swap 500 hectares of land, each wherein Bucor will use a portion of UP's Laguna and Quezon land grant to build a regional prison facility, while UP will gain access to a similar-sized area in Bucor's Iwahig property in Puerto Princesa City, Palawan. Bucor Director General Gregorio Pio Catapang Jr. said the planned regional prison facility in Laguna is part of the agency's broader goal to shut down the aging and congested new beloved prison in Muntinlupa by 2028.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And that concludes today's broadcast, and thank you for tuning in, especially to our audience on AFP Radio DWDD's Facebook page. Be sure to join and catch us again tomorrow for more stories and updates, same time and same station. Once again, this is Rofh Suzon-Abay for AFP Community News, One AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rofh Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Ito ang DWDD 1134 kHz AM. Balita, impormasyon at musika. Ito ang DWDD AFP Radio. Boses ng Kawal Pilipino.
Kayo ay nakatutok sa DWDD AFP Radio. Kami po ay kasapi ng KBP, Kapisanan ng mga Broadcaster ng Pilipinas.